This is like my third attempt at this, everybody, so bear with me. I'm going to give you the same warning I gave you with all of them. Welcome to Week 1 Preview. I'm going to try video recordings this year to save me time and energy, which is actually a good thing, except for, in this case, I'm practicing and, well, quite frankly, doing a terrible job. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't want to watch the video. Why? Because I'm not going to be able to share my screen this week. I'm not sharing my screen. I'll try and do it next week, and we'll improve this as we go on. But for right now, put it on your phone, plug in your earphones, just listen to me talk. Don't watch me unless you want to see me threaten lives with my cane like this, which I will. For example, Aaron Godwin. Learn what a valuable player is in fantasy football. Tyler is sitting right there applauding still the fact that you traded him a pretty decent quarterback for a completely invaluable player. Coleman, not going to play. Tyler, right? Nothing. Tyler knows he got the better end of that trade. Aaron, you can trade. Just make slightly smarter trades. Understand the value of your players. Sam Bradford, sure, hasn't had great seasons because he's been injured. Playing for a really high-powered offense, though. It's kind of important to know. Anyway, welcome to Week 1, ladies. We've all survived the draft. Congratulations. Once again, Malco, thank you very much for setting us up. Tim, it was awesome having you there. Ricky, thank you for coming in last minute and saving things. And Newell, thank you for making sure at least one of us completely shat the bed and made some stupid decisions. Thank you. Highly appreciated. Overall, though, pretty happy with the way that the draft turned out. I thought everyone did a pretty good job. The surprising thing is that our two former champions that aren't me kind of lost their minds in the middle of the draft and had no idea what was going on. Casey was freaking out to my right, just constantly throwing his hands over his head. Somehow ended up with Peyton Manning for $21. Nobody knows why, but that's what happened. And then he regretted it later on as he found out he could have had other players for less. For example, Matt Ryan, who he picked up later on. And then Tyler. Still, he doesn't know what he was doing. He was a little bit lost. He's a little bit confused. He's going to try and recover, but things aren't looking good for him to start the season. Anyway, Week 1. Well, we got a couple of things out of the way. Thankfully, we don't have to ruin our first Sunday with having the Patriots play. And, of course, if the Patriots do well, that means Clinton does well. I was going to pick him to win anyway, but let's be honest. Now he's just going to wreck you, Dwayne. Wreck you. So, very important stuff. Got to get your team off to a hot start. You're going to have your full team for the most part, other than those that have suspended and injured players to start. Dion Lewis looking pretty serious for Ricky on his bench there. Might scare off Casey with his happiness with LeGarrette Blount. We'll see how that happens going forward. But yeah, Tom Brady's a cheater once again, and threw 4 touchdowns. Gronk is Gronk, yada, yada, yada. It was kind of interesting. So Aaron and Tim were both over, not Tim, what's your name? Tyler. Aaron and Tyler were over at the house, and that's when this absurd trade happened. Tyler was freaking out about Ben Roethlisberger being a terrible quarterback, and then all of a sudden they threw the touchdown, and everyone was in kind of a decent mood. So Aaron's like, yeah, I'll give you a decent quarterback for nothing, basically. Anyway. Like I said, Week 1's important. Why? Roadhouse. Most important game of the week. Of course, my game's always most important to me, and second most important to all of you people aside from your own. But Casey and I, it's the Roadhouse. He's already conceded, so we'll get to that game last. First game up on the docket, though. Tyler Larson versus Riley Malkovich. All right, so the original line here was Tyler to win by about 7. Current line is Tyler to win by 5 after he got 20 points from Ben Roethlisberger. That's interesting. Was he supposed to score more than 20 points? How do you feel about that? Anyway, 104 to 99 is current projections. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that Andrew Luck still outscores Ben Roethlisberger. Yes, he's going up against a really good defense in Buffalo, but I just think he's going to get a couple of touchdowns, probably about 3 of them there, so that's 12, and then he just needs 200 yards on top of that, which Andrew Luck always throws for 200 yards, so he's going to get more than 20 points. So check mark goes Andrew Luck. Then we got C.J. Anderson versus Carlos Hyde. I actually think that Peyton Manning isn't necessarily going to have a great week. He's going to hand the ball off a lot to C.J. Anderson, so he's going to outscore Carlos Hyde here significantly. Latavius Murray versus Doug Martin. I actually have Doug Martin a lot in my daily fantasy stuff here, so I'm going to pick Doug Martin over Latavius Murray. DeAndre Hopkins versus Mike Evans. Now, here's one where I made a big mistake in my annual projections. For some reason, I was saying Hopkins is going to have a bad year. You know what, Malco? I believe in Hopkins. I've changed my mind already. Hopkins is going to have a good year, and he's going to start off by having a really good game here against Kansas City. So Hopkins gets a check mark over Mike Evans. Julio Jones versus Brandon Marshall. I wonder who to pick. Yeah, we're going to go with Julio Jones. Why? Because the Atlanta-Philadelphia game is going to be ridiculously high scoring. Just, I don't know, 56 to 49, something like that. A lot of touchdowns. Julio might have 3 of them. So Julio's definitely going to outscore Brandon Marshall. Jarvis Landry versus Eddie Royal. If this was PPR, it would definitely go to Eddie Royal. But because it's not PPR, it's just going to Eddie Royal because he's going to win. But it's not going to be a huge margin in this case. Jimmy Graham versus Vernon Davis. Oh, here's a shocker. I'm actually going to pick Vernon Davis here for Malco. Wouldn't have picked that going into any other game. Yeah, Jimmy Graham. Look at me all you want, Tyler and Vernon Davis. Go ahead and deal with it. 49ers versus Panthers. I actually think that Jacksonville is going to beat Carolina this week, so the Panthers play I'm not big on. And I don't really believe in the 49ers defense, so this is really a wash. Neither team's going to get into 10 points, so it doesn't matter all that much. And then the kickers are kickers. Who cares? This is one of the ones. So going into this week, I was thinking that I was going to pick the exact same as ESPN. As a matter of fact, I did my preparation for this. I picked the exact same as ESPN. But this game, I'm going to change my mind on. I'm not going to go with Tyler. No. I'm going to go with Malco. Malco's going to get one. I'm getting a finger from Tyler over there. It's fantastic. But Malco, good win in week 1, sir. Way to handle Tyler. All right. Moving on. Who's our next game? Oh, there are 2 out-of-towners, technically, because one lives in California and one lives in Cleveland. Or, I don't know where you live. Ohio. It's all the same thing. Cleveland, Ohio. It's pretty much the same thing. And it does all suck. All right. So, Jeffrey is starting quarterback as Teddy Bridgewater. I believe in Teddy this year. I don't know if I believe in him this week. I think that Drew Brees against Arizona is a tough matchup, so I'm going to call this a push. Neither player is going to score high, but you're going to get decent points out of both. Bridgewater ends up helping himself with the rushing touchdown. Matt Forte versus Marshawn Lynch. This one is really easy. Matt Forte plays for a terrible offense. Cutler might die in week 1. That offensive line is not good. Their wide receivers are injured. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that Marshawn Lynch outscores Matt Forte because he steals a few of Jimmy Graham's touchdowns. That's right. So Lynch gets the check mark here. DeMarco versus Murray versus Joyke Bell. So the closer we get to the season, the more and more I fear DeMarco Murray is going to have a great year. And it hurts my soul saying that because he plays for the Eagles, and I hate the Eagles, and because he was on my team last year for the Cowboys. So, ugh. But I do think DeMarco Murray is going to have a great year, and because of the high-scoring game that it's going to be Monday night, or afternoon, really, late afternoon, I'm going to give DeMarco Murray the big check mark over Joyke Bell here. Jeremy Maclin versus T.Y. Hilton. Jeremy Maclin's going to score 2 touchdowns. Not this year, in this game. That's 2 more than any wide receiver for Kansas City last year. Maclin gets the check mark over T.Y. Hilton. A.J. Green versus Randall Cobb. Hey, Randall Cobb's taking over Jordy Nelson. Yeah, I think he's going to go ahead and get it. A.J. Green's going to have a good game, but I think Jeremy Hill's going to have a bigger one in that one, so Cobb actually gets the check mark here. Cooper versus Fitzgerald. Hey, the old wily veteran versus the rookie. Where do you go? I'm going to go with my love. I'm going to go with Fitzy. I'm a big fan. I always loved Fitzy. You're my boy. I'm going to give you the check mark. Jason Witten versus Kyle Rudolph. You know, it's kind of a push. Both very similar players. Whichever one gets a touchdown gets a win. And I don't know which one's going to be, so I'm going to call it a push. Jets versus Bengals on defense. Cleveland sucks more than anyone. So let's go with the Jets here. Although it's not going to be a big one. And then kickers are kickers. So based on that, as I look at everything, only Murray and Maclin really getting the big check marks here for Jeffrey. So I'm going to agree with the ESPN. I think Tim gets this win. Let's see if there's any bench players either of you should consider as you go into tomorrow. Golden Tate. Consider him over Amari Cooper. Yep. Go ahead and do that. Tim, your bench sucks, so you're good. But Tim gets the win in week 1. Congratulations, Tim. All right. Clint versus Dwayne. Game over. Although Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against... Oh, he might throw for 4. You know what? Actually, I'm giving the check mark to Aaron Rodgers. I don't care that Tim Brady's already played and got 26.5. Rodgers, over 30 points. Boom. There you go. Mark Ingram versus Andre Ellington. I'm going to give the check mark to Ingram here. Andre Ellington, I'm not believing in him yet. Jonathan Stewart versus Isaiah Crowell. Crowell's actually losing touches to Duke Johnson now. Earlier in the week, I'd have given it to Crowell, but now, nope. I'm going to go ahead and give this to Jonathan Stewart because he's playing against a team that doesn't necessarily have a great run defense in Jacksonville. D'Angelo Williams over Brandon Cooks. Well, 15.2 points is a lot, but I think Brandon Cooks is going over 100 yards and a touchdown, so let's give that to Brandon Cooks. Wow, that's Based on this, that's 3 check marks to freaking Dwayne. I might change my mind mid-thing. Odell Beckham versus Demaryius Thomas. This is the best wide receiver matchup of the week. Hands down. Why? Because they're fan-friggin-tastic. Oh my gosh. Am I going to give another check mark here, Demaryius? No. Come on. It's Odell Beckham. Yeah, we'll give it to Odell Beckham here. Owen Daniels versus... You're starting 2 tight ends, Clinton. Oh. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. I love it when people make decisions like that. Owen Daniels versus Roddy White. I actually do give it to Owen Daniels. I just don't think Roddy White's going to do that much. It's all going to Julio. It's all going to Julio. Except for Leonard Hankerson. Sneaky good play in the daily fantasy stuff for this team. By the way, if you haven't signed up to play DraftKings tomorrow, do it now. If you win $2 million, all of us benefit from it. So go play DraftKings. All right. Rob Gronkowski or Martellus Bennett. Tough choice. I think Martellus can get 4 touchdowns. Just kidding. Rob's destroying him there. Seahawks versus Packers. Packers defense is actually going to win here because the Bears are terrible. And the Seahawks are actually playing against a team that's given them troubles when they're on the road in St. Louis. So Packers win that matchup. Hauschka versus... You know, I look at that, and I'm just like, Rodgers, Stewart, Cooks, Thomas. No, I gave it to Beckham. All right. So the back end here helps it out. Yeah, Clint still wins this game. It's going to be closer than the current 44-point spread says, but we're going to give Clint the win. Which means that sucks. You're going to score like 110 points, Dwayne, and still lose the game. Never fun to do that. Wait, hold on. I want to look at the bench. Keenan Allen. I'd play Keenan Allen over Owen Daniels. Tyler wouldn't, but I like Keenan Allen.
Owen's going to go out for 2 touchdowns.
Allen is? Keenan Allen? No. Oh, he believes in Owen Daniels. Tyler believes in Owen Daniels. I believe in Keenan Allen.
I'm praying for Owen Daniels.
Oh, goodness. All right. And Dwayne, let's see if you got anything on your bench that's worth looking at. Nope. All right. Way to go, Sloots versus... Oh, Lucas versus... This is a great crap matchup. Lucas versus Aaron. I love it. I love it. Aaron. Trades, buddy. Wow. All right. Cam Newton versus Eli Manning. Eli Manning. High scoring shootout here, and Cam Newton's just not going to have a good year at the end of the day. Just nobody to throw the ball to but Greg Olsen. Jamal Charles versus Eddie Lacy. Wow, that's a pretty fun little matchup, too, at the running back situation. I'm going to go with... Oh, Lacy, because he's playing against Chicago and Charles is going against Houston. Yep, Eddie Lacy. LaShawn McCoy versus Lamar Miller. I think McCoy's going to have a much better year now that Tyrod Taylor's his quarterback. But with that being said, Lamar Miller gets to play against a crappy Washington team, so Lamar Miller gets the check. Mike Wallace versus Alfred Morris. Lucas, you're starting Mike Wallace. I don't care who the other person plays. Mike Wallace might get 2 catches for 24 yards. Alfred Morris gets the check mark there. Calvin Johnson versus Antonio Brown. 20 points. Can Calvin get more than 20 points? I don't think so. I think Antonio wins this one pretty easily, actually. Marcus Wheaton versus Sammy Watkins. Don't ever start 2 wide receivers from the same team unless it's an absolute must, Aaron. We're going to get you to learn some things at the end of the day. It wasn't a must. Let's look at your bench. I mean, I'm going to go with Josh Huff. High-scoring offense again. I'm going to go with him over that. In this case, I would even consider Kobe Fleener over Marcus Wheaton. Other wide receivers. Kenny Stills. Okay, not much there. How about the player you traded away? Brandon Coleman. Well, I guess you traded for him after that, so that couldn't have done it. But yeah, Josh Huff probably there. Anyway, really try and find someone else other than play. Kind of like playing 2 running backs from the same team. Not a good idea. Oh my gosh, we're watching the BYU game and freaking Tanner Mangum again just threw the ball deep to someone wide open. What's going on? All right, Lucas. Let's see. You get the check mark for Sammy Watkins. I think he's going to do okay. Heath Miller versus Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen all day. I mean, all day.
Double him.
He might beat freaking Gronk this week. He's going to have like 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. So ridiculous. Rams versus Patriots. I think the Rams score more than 7 points, so I'll give the check mark to Lucas there. And Blair Walsh versus McManus. I hate talking about kickers. Manning, Lacy, Miller, Morris, Brown. Yeah, I like Aaron's team here. Lucas, still don't like your team. Let's give the win to Aaron. So let's see. Keep track so far. I got Malco winning. I got Tim winning. I've got Clinton winning. And I've got Aaron winning. So the only ones that I'm differing on so far is the Malco-Tyler matchup. All right. A couple of noobs. The 2-year veteran in Newell versus Ricky. Thank you for the wonderful experience at the draft with DJ Wes Simmons. Mr. Eagles, if you will. Without Le'Veon Bell, really going to have a struggle this week. Nice job leaving 12 points on your bench, though. It's not bad. Not bad. Apparently, Newell made the right call not playing Danny Amendola. Shock of shocks. Alshon Jeffrey, though, not looking great. All right, let's start it off here. Ryan Tannehill versus Russell Wilson. I'm going to give the check mark to Tannehill. I'm going to go ahead and do it because Russell Wilson just isn't going to run that much, and he struggles at St. Louis. He just does. They have a good team. Forsett versus Adrian Peterson. Peterson. I don't care if he was out for a year. I think he's going to go for like 180 and 2 touchdowns. Bishop Sankey versus Frank Gore. Frank Gore. Bishop Sankey. It's funny. Tevin Coleman versus Chris. Dude, Newell, who's on your team, man? How am I supposed to... Anyway, Chris Ivory over Tevin Coleman. Julian Edelman, 10.6. Alshon Jeffrey. Do you not have anyone... Brashad Perriman out. Julius Thomas out. Todd Gurley out. You are the asterisk team. Holy crap. I wrote that up kind of as a joke, but even now, after you got rid of players, you have 4 asterisks on your team. 4. Oh, no, it's only 3. But still 3. You had 4 before, now you have 3. Your team asterisk. Cody Latimer, Danny Amendola. Your team sucks. Dude, you've got to hope Adrian Peterson goes for 2,000 yards this year because I'm just not loving this team. Alshon Jeffrey, I've covered the Bears. I just think they're going to be terrible this week, and they're going to be terrible in general. So Julian Edelman, I don't know. It's only 10.6 points, though. Can Jeffrey... If Jeffrey plays, he gets a touchdown. Sure, we'll give it to him if he plays. John Brown versus Deshaun Jackson. I think Deshaun Jackson gets one long one. This is one of his good whack-a-mole weeks. So Deshaun Jackson over John Brown. Kelsey over Coleman. Not really. Actually, I'm going to call that a push. Cameron, sorry. Travis Kelsey, Jordan Cameron. Let's call it a push. Eagles defense. It's going to get Ricky negative points. It's going to be awesome. And the Cardinals defense will do decent against New Orleans. So Cardinals will do well. Eagles defense. Ricky, that's the wrong choice, man. Terrible choice. And then kickers are kickers. So I think the Bishop Sankey and the negative points from the Eagles and Adrian Peterson going crazy are the difference here. So I'm still going to give you the win, Newell. But come on, man. You've got to look at some trades to try and make your team better. I don't know what you can trade. Maybe sucker someone into an Alshon Jeffrey trade. I don't know. See what you can do. But Newell gets that one. You'll give him Brandon Marshall for Alshon Jeffrey? I'd still take that. And now to the Roadhouse. Roadhouse. Yeah, you're going to get kicked in the face, Casey. It's just what I love that you've already conceded victory to me. I appreciate it. Tony Romo will outscore Peyton Manning because, like I said, C.J. Anderson's going to get the points this week, not Peyton Manning. Jeremy Hill's just going to wreck the Oakland defense, and he's going to totally destroy Melvin Gordon in this matchup. I think Rashad Jennings and Alfred Blue. I think that Jennings is going to outscore Blue as well. So that's 3 for 3 so far. Emmanuel Sanders versus Jordan Matthews. I've already covered the Philadelphia-Atlanta game. Jordan Matthews wins that matchup. Des Bryant versus Vincent Jackson. I wonder who's going to win that. Des Bryant. Obviously. Andre Johnson versus Devontae Adams. I'm going to go ahead and say Andre Johnson. Delaney Walker versus Dwayne Allen. Yeah. Don't look at me like that, Tyler. Really? You're going to take the number 2 target that was actually the number 3 wide receiver over the number 1 target in Andrew Luck offense.
T.Y. Hilton's not the number 1 target?
No. He's the deep threat.
Okay.
But Andre Johnson is going to be the most targeted player on that team. He's the possession receiver, and he's the guy that's going to get the 10 to 15 yard touchdown passes, not T.Y. Hilton. So they get into the red zone, and Andre Johnson's scoring the touchdown. You're nuts. Tyler's nuts. Delaney Walker over Dwayne Allen. Yeah, absolutely. Dolphins over Texans. Yep. Dan Bailey over Cody Parker. I pretty much give myself a check mark everywhere but Jordan Matthews. Congratulations, Casey. You're going to lose by 30. Roadhouse is mine. All right, so that's that. We are watching the games at my house tomorrow. We have a nice little setup going on. We got couches back here that you can't see. I've got both televisions going on. I get this recliner. It's mine. Tyler seems to claim that recliner's his, but we do have the reclining seats there, and we do have the stuff upstairs next to the grill. So should be a pretty decent setup for football. That's my entire goal in life. I've tried to set it up that way. Can I just tell you how excited I am that it's football? I mean, I'm sleeping in this recliner, not in my jacket, but I am going to sleep in it. Probably will have my cane close by to me. It's football season. Week 1 fantasy football. I'm so excited. ESPN and I have agreed on everything but the Tyler and Malco game. We'll see what happens. But should be fun. Should be exciting. Everyone, if you watch this before, please get into DraftKings and try and win $2 million. Because if one of you do, if one of you could have it and you don't, and we'd all miss out because of it, I'll be so mad. If I win the $2 million, you're all welcome. Life's going to be awesome. So there's that, ladies. Like I said, I'll try and improve this as this goes forward, and hopefully you didn't watch me and you just listened to this because what a nightmare. Anyway, good luck to everyone except for Casey tomorrow, and we'll do a recap this week later on. Peace!